It's time now for the Premier Podcast, the official real estate video podcast of Premier Realty Group of West Tennessee. We have 3 offices to serve you in McKenzie, Paris, and Huntingdon. Online at prealtygroup.com. Now, let's get started with today's Premier Podcast.
Welcome back to the Premier Video Podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Green, the Marketing Director for Premier Realty Group of West Tennessee. My co-host today is our owner and our principal broker in McKenzie, Susan Bradbury. How are you?
I'm doing great, Kelly. How are you?
Doing very well. We've been doing a whole series on different types of home loans. Today we're going to discuss the conventional loan.
We are. Our objective has been to give our listeners a pretty good understanding of the different types of loans. And so today we're covering conventional because we want them to understand about a conventional loan, and we have a great person here to talk to us about that.
That's right. She is a loan officer for Carroll Bank Trust. JMcMackin, how are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you on. Let's dive right in. What are the documents, right off the bat, what are the documents I'll need to get pre-qualified for a conventional mortgage? Because it's crucial to get pre-qualified before you go search for that home, right?
It's very important to get pre-qualified first. Saves you a lot of trouble, and it saves your agent some trouble on the front end as well. Yeah. So we will need pay stubs for the last 30 days, your W-2s for the last 2 years, your full tax returns for the last 2 years as well. 2 forms of ID is also important to have. Now, you don't necessarily have to have those tax returns for the pre-qualification stage, but we will need to document those during the processing of that loan. So having it up front just saves everybody a lot of time.
So bring those documents with you when you go see Jennifer McMackin at Carroll Bank Trust.
That's right.
What kind of credit score should I bring with me as well, hopefully?
Hopefully, you will have a minimum of a 620 credit score.
Okay.
So they have lightened up on the credit score requirement, so a 620, and that would be, we pull a tri-merge credit report. So you get 3 of the bureau scores, and we will use the middle score from those 3 scores for your qualifying score.
Okay.
So
let's talk about what types of homes we can purchase with a conventional loan. I'm sure you can purchase, if you're a first-time home buyer, that would work out well. What if you're looking at a condo or a home on the lake or even a mobile home?
You can purchase all 3 of those through the conventional programs on the 30-year fixed rates. They have a few different guidelines as far as down payments, but those are available.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, and speaking of down payments,
yeah,
that's a myth that I think we can dispel, because I think so many people think that conventional loans require 20% down, and that's just not the case, is it?
That is not the case. For a standard conventional loan, 5% down is your minimum down payment. When you do put 20% down, it does change a few things. It gives you a little more freedom as far as escrowing your taxes and insurance. That would not be a requirement. That would be your choice if you do put 20% down. And it also eliminates the monthly mortgage insurance with 20% down. So 5% down is the minimum and allows you to get a 30-year conventional mortgage.
Gotcha. So no PMI with 20% down.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, let's talk about the advantages of a conventional loan. What makes it better? Or we can talk disadvantages as well, but what makes it better than other loans out there?
Well, again, going back to the freedom of the escrow, you actually have an option on a conventional loan where you don't have to pay mortgage insurance. So let's say you just put the 5% down. There is an option for lender-paid mortgage insurance, which is basically it's built into the rate and it's not in your monthly payment. So you might pay a little higher interest rate, but it lowers your overall monthly payments sometimes. It's not always the better option, but that's what your loan officer's for, is to guide you, to give you those available options and let you make the decision what works best for your budget.
Okay. And backtracking just a bit, you talked about a 620 credit score. If somebody comes in with a 600 credit score, can you guys at Carroll Bank Trust possibly work with them to get that score up?
We can.
Okay.
I think it's very important to educate the borrower on their credit report. So they need to know the content of that. They need to know what is impacting that score and things that they can do to correct that and to raise their score.
Okay. And we talk about this a lot with all the different types of loans, but when you get pre-approved, when you're locked in, what are things you shouldn't do? Because there's a little checklist you need to follow there.
Right.
Things you shouldn't do after you're pre-approved for that loan.
I would say it would be a good idea to not go trade vehicles or buy a new vehicle. Do not open any new accounts. Do not go purchase furniture for that home that you're in the process of trying to buy on the 12 months no interest. Those are some things that could really make a difference in the final approval of your loan.
What about a boat?
Same thing.
Jet ski?
No.
Airplane?
No.
Helicopter?
Please no.
Motorcycle?
I would not advise that.
Just want to make sure we cover all the bases.
Cover all of that. Right. No, please.
Gotcha.
You don't want to end up with furniture and no home to put it in.
Correct. Correct.
What about cash reserves when you come in or when you get pre-approved? Should there be money in the savings account?
It's always good to have a little reserve fund, but it's not always required. So not necessarily, it's not going to be a requirement all the time.
Let me ask you this, Jennifer. So many times we find that our buyers have to tie their closing cost into their loan. Can that happen with a conventional loan? They have to have so much down, but can they tie their closing cost into the loan, or is that?
That's a great question. No, that's not allowed
Okay.
through Fannie Mae conventional loans. You cannot add that back to the loan. Now, there are seller contributions that can be made. You can also get gift funds from a family or another party for some of those, for some of that money out of pocket, but we cannot add those back. So if you're putting 5% down, 95% of that purchase price is the maximum that you can finance.
Right.
Okay. Let's talk about when you're pre-approved and you're ready to set up the loan. Can you do it on 30 years? Can you do it on 15 years? How can you space it out?
You can space it out 10, 15, 20, 25, or 30 years.
Okay.
So there are several options available.
Gotcha.
If I were someone getting ready to buy and I was thinking about going FHA, which requires 3.5% down, it would probably be to my advantage to wait just a little while, get that other, 1.5? Does that equal 5?
Right. Yes.
And get that other 1.5 and maybe go conventional.
Well, that's the good thing about having a loan officer that's going to lay out all of those options for you, show you on paper, here's the
Right.
FHA option. It has an upfront mortgage insurance plus a monthly mortgage insurance, but a lower down payment. So depending on the interest rate, your out-of-pocket money, we always try to look at the borrower and see what they're looking for and try to find them the option that best suits them.
Right.
So again, I can't really answer that question with a yes or no.
Right, just
Because every
depends.
individual situation is going to be different. And
Right.
we just try to find exactly what is going to work for that borrower.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
We're talking with Jennifer McMackin. She is a loan officer with Carroll Bank Trust. You guys are located all over West Tennessee. How many locations now?
We have 8 locations.
Oh, wow. Do we want
Yes.
to run through them? Can you name them off the top of your
I
head?
can name those off the top of my head. We'll start here with Paris.
right.
We have Paris, Camden, McKenzie, McLemoresville, Huntingdon, which is our home office, Milan, Bradford, and I believe that's 8.
Is that 8?
If we counted those, if I missed any, I may be in trouble.
You're growing. You're growing by leaps and bounds. Where's
We
the
are.
next location going to be? Give us the exclusive right now.
I may have to just plead the fifth on that.
Right.
I'm not really sure.
Gotcha. What's the best way to reach you if somebody's ready to figure it out whether or not they can get pre-approved or come see you about more details about home loans? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
You can reach me at our main office, 731-986-4401. You can email me at JMcMackin at carrollbank.com. You can go onto our website, carrollbank.com, and find our loan officers and email us directly from our website.
Gotcha.
So we would be more than happy to hear from you, help you, advise you, and hopefully get you into a new home.
All right, simple as that. Any other thoughts for Jennifer McMackin?
No, I think that we've covered it. I do want just clear up one little thing, Jennifer.
Okay.
I asked the question about your closing cost. So you can ask the seller to cover some of those closing costs in a conventional loan, and the seller does have the
right
to do that. Correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Because I don't want to scare away somebody that might not have closing costs from a conventional loan.
Right.
So-
No, you can most definitely get the seller to work with you on paying a portion of those.
Right.
Different programs have different requirements on what those percentages are.
Right.
But that often is the only way some people can get into a home.
Exactly, and that's why I wanted to clarify
Right.
that. Yeah,
I'm glad
I
you
don't want
did.
to scare them away from
No.
a conventional loan
No.
because they
No.
can ask for seller concessions.
Yes, they
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
And most of the time, the seller's happy to do that.
Right. They
They're
wanna
ready
get
to
their
sell
home
their
sold.
home.
Yeah.
And it's going to allow someone else to get into a home. So
Right.
there's many options out there.
Right.
Gotcha. Good deal.
That's the exciting thing about it, I think,
Yeah.
is that there are so many options, and people just
There
need
are.
need to sit down with someone like yourself and figure them all out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and we do that every day.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
a free service. So.
Right. Again, call Jennifer McMackin at Carroll Bank and Trust. She is a loan officer there. We'll flash the number on your screen so you can see that. Jennifer, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you so much. I had a great time.
Yeah. Thanks, Jennifer.
Thanks for watching the Premier Video Podcast.